Hey y'all, it's Kim. So this will be the second day, so July 25th, DOJ transcripts and with the audio of Jelaine Maxwell. This first guy is super loud when he gets on there, is like screaming into the microphone. So I gotta turn this down for just a second. It also scares the dog. So she's popping up like, what the hell's that noise? So let me turn it down just a little bit. I'll start playing it and then we'll get to the transcript portion. So hold on. Because, yeah, he's super loud. Why is this thing not moving? Okay.
Today is Friday, July 25th. The time is 9:24 a.m. My name is Spencer R. Horn. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of FBI New York, and we are here for a recorded proffer agreement with Ms. Maxwell.
Good morning. Good morning, Ms. Maxwell. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. So the proffer agreement we signed yesterday, I just there's a place on it for us to all kind of initial. It's exactly the same document, and you'll see your signature. If you can just initial right to the left of right here, right there, and then Mr. Marcus will initial as well. Thank you. And just to kind of before we get going, I'll just say that exactly the same folks that were here when we met yesterday are here today. So there's no, I'm not going to do formal introductions because it's exactly the same group of folks. So we're continuing, Ms. Maxwell, our discussion of yesterday, and the same kind of rules apply. If you will take breaks, if you need to talk to Mr. Marcus or your lawyers, absolutely no problem. Just let me know. I'll try to ask my questions in a coherent manner, but if there's anything that I say that's confusing, definitely interrupt me.
I will. Thank you.
So I think the easiest thing to start with is there anything that we talked about yesterday that we're going to go through some more names. I think that that's one of the places that we interrupted just because there's a lot of names. But aside from additional names, is there anything that you wanted to kind of follow up on that we talked about yesterday, or anything that you thought maybe you remember more of or not?
Some more names did come to me in the night, and I did have some additional memories of just for clarity. I believe I said that I couldn't think of anybody who I may have asked from Mar-a-Lago, but then I realized that the allegation at least is that I met in Mar-a-Lago, so
Virginia, yeah.
I needed to address that, and I didn't want to leave that hanging because that seems weird
under
circumstances. And also, but I couldn't remember anyone, and that maybe it was a long period of time. So the issue is not that I'm trying to not say, but I don't remember anybody that I would have. But it's not impossible that I might have asked someone.
I don't know exactly what you said yesterday, but I don't think what you said yesterday is different than what you just said. So yes.
Okay. I just wanted to be. I just didn't want to feel that I had said no to something, and that it didn't.
Definitely has said that she was working at Mar-a-Lago, and that you received a treatment from her at some point, and that you recruited her to meet Mr. Epstein. Right. Do you know affirmatively whether that's true or false, or do you just not have a memory either way?
I really don't believe it's true, but I know that I did go to spas, and if I met someone, I did ask if they're home. So in the realms of possibility, it could have, but I have no memory of it. Okay. And I don't believe that it's how it went down, but I don't want to.
Okay, so I want to talk about, we talked a little bit yesterday about the financial part of your relationship with Mr. Epstein, kind of being on payroll, for lack of a better word, for many, many years, starting around $25,000 and ending up at around $250,000 per year. There's, as you know from your trial, there's banking information that shows a ton of money being sent to you from Mr. Epstein over the years, in I think totaling something like $30 million, something like this. What's the why was that money sent to you? Like, what was that for?
Well, first of all, I dispute the characterization that the money was sent to me.
Okay, so tell me what I am stuck with the witnesses at trial and what was said at trial on that issue. So what is the what do you dispute about that?
Well, I believe I don't have full recollection. I'm not even sure I ever saw what they accused me of, but my belief is that that money also contained money that was for a helicopter, for instance, that I never owned and I was never mine. And
in other words, money was sent to you that you then used to purchase things, or?
Well, I'm not even sure that I purchased it. So the accounts, those accounts would be controlled by his accountants.
And even accounts in your name, you're saying, or one of your entities.
Well, I'm not even sure I knew of all the entities. Maybe I did contemporaneously, but I certainly wouldn't know today. So if there was an entity, let's say account X, if I really set that up myself, or whether they said we're doing this and the money's coming or whatever, but in no substantive way, I can't think of the right word.
Did you have control over?
I had no control, is what I'm saying.
So when the government, when there was testimony or the government admitted evidence that showed, for example, $5 million in 2002 coming from Epstein to you, okay, what you're saying is that that happened, but that the you there wasn't money, that he wasn't giving you money.
I'm not going to say that for everything, because maybe there were accounts that money was sent to me, but I can say that I know, like the helicopter, I can definitively say. I'd have to look at all of them to be accurate for you, but to explain how or why I could be receiving monies, and I certainly did. So I'm not disputing all of it.
When you said that, let's go back and look at why did money have to go into your accounts or account that was controlled by others but in your name to like purchase a helicopter?
Oh, that's a very good question. I'm not sure I know the answer to that. I don't.
So let me ask this maybe a different way that gets to the issue, right? So the accusation by the government, based upon the evidence they collected, is that Epstein paid you millions and millions of dollars over the years. And the reason why he paid you that is because you were performing an extraordinary service for him by recruiting young women, many of whom were underage, so that he could sexually abuse them. Okay, that's their allegation. Okay. From what you said yesterday and from what I've reviewed about you and Mr. Epstein, he paid for a lot in your life. Your flights, where you stayed with him. I mean, he didn't expect you to reimburse him along the way for food, and so he took care of you for many years.
That is true.
On top of that, he actually paid you a salary. We talked about $25,000 to $250,000. What else did he give you, or what purchase? Like, was there a time when he gave you $1 million or $500,000 as a bonus, or what financial benefit did you receive from him? Besides what we've already talked about, we don't have to talk about what
I got it.
Okay.
So my goal always was to become independently financially secure, and work for myself. I've never been one to work. And in that regard, over the course of my friendship and my working relationship with Epstein, I expressed to him my desire to be independent of him everywhere, just to be freestanding. And with that in mind, I wanted to have my own businesses or my own my own money coming in, independent and separate from any salary that I received from him. And I needed that for my self-esteem. I've never been, obviously salary, and it was very generous. Please, I'm not belittling the sum of money because it's huge, but I was brought up to work, and I was brought up to be my own. The first time, so I would either propose businesses to him, or he would actually suggest, why didn't I do something? The first deal that we did, or the first business that we had, or I had, that he financed for me. So he lent me all the money to enable me to do this, and then I reap the profits, which I don't remember now, because we varied over the deals that we did, that I would give him 50% or 25%. It was sort of, it was random. And I can tell you what it is.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. So it was in Palm Beach, actually, and it was in real estate, and they sold what was the grounds originally of an estate called the Phipps Estate, and then they converted the land that came with that estate into houses, and I did, I think 2 or maybe 3, I can't remember now, but certainly 1 and maybe 2, possibly 3, I don't think so, I think 2, that then were flipped and there was a profit. So that would be an example of that, but I didn't have the money. So he lent me the funds to do that business transaction, and then I reaped the profits.
And so, but when
millions of dollars.
When a financial investigator, like the FBI, looks at accounts, they don't know kind of the conversations you're having, they just see the money.
Right.
So in those cases, when that happened, when he financed that with you, would he send money to you? So does that explain some of the money? Like, I
think it does. I think, for instance, there were 2 Gullwing Mercedes that they did with Mercedes and Aston Martin. You can look up, I think, if I'm right, that had the doors that would come up like this, that were only a very limited number that were made. So I knew that we could get those and flip them right within 24 hours, for example. Also, here's another example of something that you guys wouldn't have known about. So I became a banker. I got my Series 63 and Series 67 banking license, and became a broker for like 10 years the next. And then, because I was day trading, everything I had, I day traded through an account. And I think I was lucky, wasn't smart, but I made quite a lot of money doing that. And so,
when was that? Like what?
That's in the 90s again. I don't. Wait, I think you can find it because it'll be my banking license, right? But that'll be something that you can look up.
Yeah.
So whatever that is, and I just don't remember when that is. I'm sorry.
So okay, so
for example, I was doing really well, and so he was like, "How do you do that? Well, why are you investing in Apple when nobody liked Apple? This is, before Apple or Microsoft. I didn't know Bill Gates, so this is not related to him. But my family.
Don't charge with insider.
Please don't. No, I'm not trying to suggest that. Oh goodness, please no. I had no.
That was just a joke.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry. But my going back to my family, my dad had given me an account when I was 12, and I had always an interest in business and finance. Not very sophisticated. I'm not suggesting that. And so I like to trade, and so I did, and I did well. And so then I would tell him what I was doing. Now, whether he did or he didn't, he told me he matched me in some other accounts that he had, because he did a lot of my observation. To go back to what he did, I observed him personally and have personal recollection of him trading with money, a lot, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars.
That he was trading for other people, or that was his own money?
I want also to clarify something for you, or clarify or underline. Wexner was, in my opinion, his closest friend in this time period from when I met him in 91, right? All the way until, well, till, I don't know, because I wasn't that friendly with, well, I did travel with Mr. Wexner, but Epstein told me that Wexner didn't want to be seen too much with me because of my family problems. And
You mean
now whether that was
the problems that your father's company had with
Yes.
embezzlement or
yes,
allegations of
yes, that's what I'm talking about. And now, actually, today, not contemporaneously, but today, I don't believe that that's even true. I think it was used as a means to not have me travel with him to Ohio or whatever. It was just a way to park me. And I believe that now because within the discovery, there was a lot of, well, not a lot, but there was some indications that he would actively tell other people to lie to me or conceal things from me, and that he never loved me and I wasn't his type. That's in the discovery somewhere.
So, okay, so the government had evidence that even as late as 2007, he paid you a lot of money,
What was that? What was the money?
like several millions and millions of dollars in 2007. $7.4 million.
What was that for? Was that the helicopter?
That's my question.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Okay,
so in
sorry.
2007,
I think
in
that's probably the helicopter. That could have been that could have been the helicopter, the Sikorsky. Those big chunks like that. I don't personally have any memory of receiving a check from him for $7 million. I just don't. But I would have to. I know I'm. So the answer to your question, to be precise,
I went into your pocket.
I would remember that he never paid me for services that you just described, $7 million for any nefarious reason.
I think I understand what you've said about being on the payroll and him helping you with businesses and giving you a lot of life things along the way. You travel with him, ate with him, but there is these massive amounts of money, one-time payments
you'd have to trace that, right? So I don't believe that came into my account or I had any control. I have no memory of that. I've no.
Well, but if there's records that show it coming into your account, it sounds like what you're saying is that, not putting aside you have no memory of that money being yours. Like that money is not somewhere.
No, I wouldn't be like, oh, yippee, let me go. I got $7 million. I'm going to go buy myself a yacht. No, or I don't know, something else, or move it to some other. No, I don't think if you look, you'll have to check. But obviously, I don't think you'll find that money moving to any account other than mine, or it shouldn't show. I don't believe anyway. As far as I read, it wouldn't show me spending it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think I don't think there's any dispute by anybody, even your lawyers at trial, that the money went in.
$7 million in when? What year?
Well, there's several years. In 2007.
And?
It's in 2002. There was $5 million that you were paid in 2002.
Oh, well, I'd have to. I don't remember. But okay, so there'd be another large sum, but it wouldn't have come from him later.
The biggest one was in 1999. There's over 18 million, 18.3 million.
I don't know what that is.
So what you're saying, it sounds like, and then if you don't know, we can move on. But we're talking about 18.3 million in 99, 5 million and 3 years later in 2002. 7.4 million in 2007. That money adds up to around $30 million. You were not paid that by Mr. Epstein, meaning that's not money you received for your benefit, even if it was put in your accounts.
I don't believe any of that was my money. Now I just, like I said, we did do these things with the cars, and as
But,
Yeah.
but
I don't know if any of that money, some of it, if it moves, some of that may have come from the car or a house that was sold that I had an interest in with him. That's possible, but I don't think this money is mine.
And
But
so-
also, the record should reflect too, that there were times Ghislaine's name was used. For example, Air Ghislaine. Her name was in the name of the entity. It had nothing to do with her. And if you pull signatures.
Yeah.
There's no.
what I'm trying to just make sure that I understand is that the idea that you were paid $30 million between 99 and 2007 in order to, by Mr. Epstein, to reward you for recruiting young women, that is you're saying that is categorically completely false.
That is categorically false, correct.
Okay, so I want to we went through several individuals yesterday, and I want to go through just a couple of more names and ask if you know them, and if you do know them, how you know them. You know Elon Musk.
I do.
And how did you meet Mr. Musk?
I met him in I don't remember the year, but it's going to be in 2010, 11, something like that, I think, if my memory serves. And I was at an event for Sergey Brin, the co-founder of Google, and Sergey had arranged it was for his birthday, and we were a bunch of us. I don't even remember how many we were, but not many of us. Maybe, if I say 40, I could be wrong. If it was 30 or 50, I don't remember. I'm sorry. Went to another friend's island. Somebody called Mr. Bigotzi in the Caribbean, and not with Epstein. He was not there to celebrate Sergey's birthday, and we were there together for, I want to say 3 or 4 days, something like that, in my memory. And Mr. Musk was present for that.
And that was the first time you met him, as far as you know?
As far as I remember, yes.
Did you meet? Did you know his brother, Mr. Musk's brother?
I don't know if I've ever met him. I know that he has a brother, and but I don't think I met him.
Aside from that time in around 2010 on the island of the Caribbean for a couple of days, do you know Mr. Musk beyond that time?
We met at I was at the Oscars, and we met at the Oscars.
What year was that? Earlier or later?
It was post that event, I believe.
And do you know whether Mr. Epstein knew Mr. Musk?
I believe they did, and the only reason I say that is not from my memory, but because I saw. I think I saw. My memory is that in Discovery they were communicating on email.
So you have no personal knowledge of that. It's just
no
what you've seen from the press or from Discovery.
And I believe his brother as well, actually.
Excuse me?
Mr. Musk's brother as well. But I don't. Like I said, my memory is not it's not as good as I would like it to be, and I just want to say that.
Do you mentioned, I think yesterday in passing, not in passing, but as part of another answer, Andrew Cuomo?
Yes.
Did you know Mr. Cuomo?
Well, only because he was married to Carrie.
Yes. Okay.
And I think I knew his brother as well. He has a brother, right? He's on TV. What's his name? Right, Christopher.
Yeah,
Chris.
You mean the former TV anchor, or
yes,
the TV anchor,
yes.
Chris Cuomo? Okay.
So, but I would say just so I'm not close friends or anything, but because I was friends with Carrie and I met him a few times, and I've certainly met his brother as well a few times.
And the same questions that I asked about Mr. Musk, do you know whether Mr. Epstein knew Andrew Cuomo or Chris Cuomo or Miss Kennedy, your friend?
I don't think so.
And so you don't recall any of those three individuals like flying on Mr. Epstein's plane
No.
or visiting him in
No.
Palm Beach or at the island?
No.
I think you mentioned former Secretary of State John Kerry yesterday, but if not, do you know Mr. Kerry?
I've met him, but I don't know if Mr. Epstein has met him. I met him at really, I can't even probably characterize that as a meeting, but I was very, very involved in the ocean work through you asked me yesterday about Terramar, and if I recall right, I met Mr. The Secretary that way through the ocean, but he wouldn't know who I am.
Do you know whether, do you know former Senator Ted Kennedy?
Yes.
And is that through your own life or through Mr. Epstein?
My life.
Do you know whether Mr. Epstein knew Senator Kennedy?
I don't think so.
And so for the folks we just talked about, so former Secretary of State John Kerry, Ted Kennedy, you don't know whether Mr. Epstein knew him, so I take that to mean you have no recollection of them flying on his planes or visiting him.
But Bobby knew him. Bobby, the health.
Sorry, say it again about Bobby Kennedy.
Bobby knew Mr. Epstein.
How do you know that?
Because we went on a trip together. We went to dinosaur bone hunting in the Dakotas.
When was that? Approximately. I'm not looking for an exact date, but when was that?
That was early. That was in the early night. Well, let me back up. I knew Bobby's wife, Mary, pretty well actually, and before he met her.
Just to help us, I know we're talking about a wide span of time, but when are you talking about that you knew Mr. Kennedy's wife before they were married? So when are we talking about that?
In 19, I guess, let's get my head straight.
Well, would this have been before you met Mr. Epstein?
Yes.
Okay. So
I met him before I met.
So we're talking about
in
the
1980s.
1980s.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
The 80s.
Okay, so we're talking about the 1980s. And then...
I was I had a very, very long-standing boyfriend. And his brother was dating Mary at the time. And we were all very good friends.
And then Mr. Epstein, did Mr. Epstein meet Bobby Kennedy through you?
I don't think so, because Mr. Epstein, surprisingly, everyone says everything happened through me. That's just not true. I mean, I think yesterday I explained that he had friends from London, and they were what the people would call fancy. They were fancy people. But he had the same types of relationships before I met him in America. So when I met him, he was already, Wexner, and he had Henry, and he was. I don't know if then he was in the Council of Foreign Relations, but he was friends with Ace, and he was well established. Yeah. He didn't need me, and he was, his Eva was a major model, so he had all these modeling connections and friends in that business that long before I met him.
And so the trip that you went on with Mr. Epstein and Bobby Kennedy, was that in the 90s and 2000s?
I think it would have been in the, I want to say 93, 94.
Okay. So a very long time ago.
A very, very long time ago.
It's a few years into your relationship, a few years into the time that you knew Mr. Epstein.
Yes. I don't want to hold myself to the dates because I really...
No, I'm not holding you to dates. I think I've said that a lot because I appreciate we're talking about the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s.
I don't have anything to review So I haven't had any ability to, short of my legal material received, which I have, so I came with a box with, but short of that, I have nothing with which to refresh, or very limited stuff, I should say. I don't want to say nothing to refresh my mind.
I understand that. Do you have any recollection of Mr. Kennedy, of there being anything inappropriate with Mr. Kennedy and masseuses or young women on the trip you just talked about?
I never saw anything inappropriate with Mr. Kennedy.
And do you know whether he ever got a massage from one of the masseuses? You know, either way.
I do not.
But not something you remember.
I mean, absolutely not. I mean, yesterday, if I didn't make it clear, I will reiterate it. I never, ever saw any man doing something inappropriate with a woman of any age. I never saw inappropriate behavior. Now, I'm not going to say hands or that to me is not inappropriate. Now, if somebody's inappropriate and mine may be different, but I'm not talking about anything that's resembles the accusations that we're discussed here. So that would be a flat no to any man.
Did your or Mr. Epstein's relationship with Bobby Kennedy continue into the 2000s, as far as you know?
I would say yes. Well, mine, yes.
You're with you?
With me, for sure.
And do you know whether Mr. Epstein and Mr. Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, continue to have relationships into the 2000s?
I have no personal knowledge of that. I mean, because here's
no
another thing is that everyone puts us together like a monolith. He literally had a separate life from me. I literally had a separate life from him. Now, did they say? Well, of course they did. I'm not crazy, but he kept a lot to himself, and he didn't like to share. He was not a sharer. Well, at least not with
Mr.
me.
Epstein didn't share your secret.
Not with me, no.
Did you do you know somebody named Cheryl Mills? Who used to work in the White House as a lawyer.
Yes.
How do you know Miss Mills?
I met Miss Mills through President Clinton.
And do you remember generally the time frame that you met her?
I do actually. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to remember. I'm having to get my dates right.
Approximately.
Well, okay, I can't get my dates right. But it's something you've probably, it's going to be in the early 2000s.
Okay.
So what I don't recall.
So
I want to say 2002.
So it was after President Clinton left office.
Oh yes.
And so it was in the 2000s.
Definitely.
And how did you meet her? What were the circumstances under which you met Ms. Mills?
I went on a trip with the president to South America.
With which president?
Oh, sorry, President Clinton.
Yeah. Okay. Just
Sorry.
I just wanted to make sure it was clear. Okay, so you went on a trip to where?
Latin America.
And so Miss Mills was on that trip.
She was.
And President Clinton was on that trip.
He was.
Who else was on that trip?
Doug Band.
Who worked with President Clinton?
Yes.
And was Mr. Epstein?
No.
And what was the purpose of that trip?
Well, the president had this. I don't know. I mean, the president met with. I can't even remember all the presidents and.
But was this part of President Clinton's work after he left office with his foundation, or was a meeting?
I don't think the
was it something for him, or was it?
I don't remember when the Clinton Global Initiative started. So if you give me that date, I can tell you if it was pre or post. Because without that, I can't pin the reason.
Do you remember what it was for or not?
No, I don't recall. I mean,
yeah, that's don't overthink or underthink the reason for my questions. I don't have any idea why you went on that trip. So
okay,
I don't know an answer that I'm keeping.
No, I'm just trying to be as accurate as possible and give you the
why
information
would you? Do you remember why you were invited to go? Like, were you friends with somebody? What was your role of going on that trip?
I didn't have a role.
So, do you remember why? Do you remember who invited you to go?
If probably Doug Band.
And how did you know Doug?
Because Doug and again back with Philip Levine.
And do you know whether he had a relationship with Mr. Epstein?
Who?
Doug.
I don't know. I mean, nothing. I don't believe there was any relationship other than I helped. Well, without me, I don't think there would have been those flights because I was the one who asked Epstein to provide the plane before. Well, certainly I remember the one to Africa, of course, that big trip. And I thought it was an honor and a privilege to be part of something so amazing and to have an opportunity to spend time with a man that I found truly extraordinary. And I please, I don't mean it in any other way other than that there's a form of fantastic ex-president.
So I was asking around the question, but I was asking, like, were you basically asked to go because you were kind of responsible for the plane? Not responsible is the wrong word. They use you. They were able to use you to make sure that they could. You helped them get Mr. Epstein's plane for the trip.
No, I don't even know if when I was on that. In fact, I think that trip. I'm not even sure that Epstein had met the president.
Okay.
I think this is. If I'm right, and I think I am. I think that trip happened when Epstein and Clinton had never even. Not that they'd never met because Epstein had gone to the White House, but they had not met. I'd never asked Epstein for the plane then because they'd never met and it would be weird. But they met because of me and the plane was because of me. But that trip was the first, I think, the first trip I took with the ex-president. And I don't believe Epstein and he had met. And we're talking a time period when I was trying to leave, not very successfully, obviously, but I was branching out on my own and being more independent of Mr. Epstein and trying to, I had all kinds of businesses that I was into. I was trying to start the first telehealth medicine with the Cleveland Clinic. I mean, I'm not going to bore you because I don't think that's what you guys are interested in, but those were the sorts of things that I was looking for him to finance so that I could stop being, general manager of a hotel.
Did you?
All right, I'm gonna stop it here, and then maybe I'll see about recording this last like 30 minutes or something. But anyway, I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.